Hey out there, legal warriors, permission to fail. Would it surprise you if I told you that if you gave your lawyer permission to fail, you'd probably get a better result in your case? If you wonder what I'm talking about, if that sounds interesting to you, stay tuned because this is the video for you. My name is Lance Fryrear. I'm a defense attorney in Lynnwood, Washington. My law firm's been defending people charged with crimes for more than 20 years, and I'm putting out these videos to help educate the public. So if you find this useful, please like and please subscribe. More people get the help they need. Now I'm just going to jump right into it. I've put out a lot of videos, and sometimes, hey, what am I going to talk about next? And a lot of the things I talk about come up in daily life at my law office. We've got, 5 attorneys, and we defend all types of people all the time. And I thought I'd show you behind the scenes a bit, at least in my speech here, about what defense attorneys in particular might go through in representing you or anybody in a criminal charge. So again, the prosecutor is against you, the police are against you, the court says they're not against you, but they're doing a lot of bad things to you. So probably the only person on your side is the defense attorney. And you probably haven't been through the system before, and you spend a lot of time talking to the defense attorney and really asking what's going to happen and things like that. And from our point of view as defense attorneys, at least the ones that I know and the ones in my firm, we are doing everything we possibly can to try to help not only get the best result in your case, but also try to help our client, if you're a defendant, or the viewer, if you were charged with the crime, help you through the situation mentally, because it's so hard to be charged with the crime. So here's a lot of what happens in our office, especially for the people that have had a lot more control of things in their life. We get a lot of phone calls, a lot of questions along the lines of, hey, what's going to happen with my case? What's the next steps in my case? When is the next thing that's going to happen in my case? When are you going to get it done by? How are you going to talk to the prosecutor? Have you talked to the prosecutor yet? All these types of repeated questions about things, honestly, we just don't know the answer to, because each case is different. Each case will go at its own pace. And us attorneys, we're always trying to think, what is the next thing that we can do to try to help our client get the case resolved and get their life back to normal. But it doesn't work how most people think it works, at least the defense system. There's a prosecutor, and the client often wants to think that the prosecutor is going to take their time and pay attention to the case and actually care what happened. And if the prosecutor only had one case, that might be what they would do. But what happens is everybody in the system, including the prosecutor, they don't have enough time. There's nothing in it for them to really carefully consider what happened in each case. It's more about trying to survive their caseload and get a result that they can live with, okay, from all types of emotional reasons. And so when a client constantly asks us, what are you going to do? What are you going to do next? When's it going to happen? It could sort of put a lot of pressure on us as attorneys. And since we're also dealing with high pressure situations in a number of cases, it's not usually very helpful to keep pressurizing your attorney in the same area. Now, if you have concerns about your attorney, not doing their job, and there's complaints all the time about family law attorneys that we get, that they're not returning calls, things like that, that's different. I'm talking about a law firm that is communicating with you, that returns your phone calls, that keeps you updated. In those situations, it's totally fine to ask as many questions as you want, but the more often that you ask the same questions about when's it going to happen, what's going to happen next, what are you going to do, when are you going to talk to the prosecutor, all of those things really aren't helpful to your attorney. So I can say how I feel and how my staff feels when we get too many of those type of questions is we feel more pressure, and we feel harder for us to do our job. So what I came up with is sort of as a client, it might be a really good idea to really ask her what you want. Hey, I really want this case dismissed, or I really want this case at the very least reduced, or hey, I just don't want to go to jail, whatever it is. Ask her what you want, but then mentally give your attorney permission to fail. You're not going to tell them it's okay to fail, okay? Because that's not how you feel. But in your mind, just say, hey, I'm going to trust them to do their best, and I'm not going to try to micromanage what they do. I'm going to understand that there's so many unknowns in the criminal justice system about timing and things like that, that there is typically not a timeline that we can predict with certainty. We don't know exactly when we're going to talk to the prosecutor. The answer is, for those type of things, we're going to do it when the time is right. We're going to do it when the time is most advantageous in our estimation. We're going to do it when we think we have the best chance of getting a yes out of the people we need to get a yes out of. And so hopefully your attorney is going to have you doing some things. My firm might have a client do some classes, might have an evaluation done, or some things that we've talked about in other videos so the prosecutor can feel part of the solution. So the more quickly that a client gets those things done, the more options the attorney has is to figure out when is the right time, right? When is the right time to talk to the prosecution? When is the right time to file a motion? When is the right time to set the case for trial, if that's what's necessary? So the best I could come up with in trying how to describe this, in your mind, give your attorney permission to fail, knowing that they're probably not going to fail, but that way it'll take some stress off you that, hey, let them do it their own way, right? Try to help them, and when you're anxious, ask questions. But realize that it's hard sometimes for an attorney to stand up to a client who's a private attorney, they're being paid by a client. It's hard for us to stand up and say, hey, we don't know, right? Because we're supposed to know everything. We know that we're experienced, we know that we're skilled, we know that we really, really, really want a good result because we care about what happens. But sometimes the more anxiety you put on your attorney, the harder it is for your attorney to not sort of pick that up, and an anxious attorney is a bad attorney, right? So, this video is as much for me as all of you out there, so appreciate you watching it. And if you have any questions about a criminal matter, if you need some help, feel free to give my office a call. We've been doing this for more than 20 years. We'll listen to what happened, we'll identify a way forward, and we will be there for you. Thank you.